Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? I see Motogoth in the chat. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Illyria Sand, ShareBear52, Hecate, my dearest cat, Sarah K, my girl. I accidentally looked it up and it shitted in my eye. She knows what I'm talking about. Welcome in. Welcome to a Freaky Friday Extra here on a Wednesday night. I thought it'd be fun to do, and we're probably going to do more of these. There's so much information about I'm back. Wow. The Wi-Fi just said nope. Oh my God, they're coming for me. See, I'm talking about things. They're coming for me. Oh, cat. Yep, I feel you on the steroids. Sorry about that. No, I did not mute. My Wi-Fi just said nope. We've had thunderstorms here in the past couple of days, and where I live in Nevada, it's like 3 raindrops or 2 snowflakes and 5-mile-per-hour winds, and my internet company just it's a lot. So sorry about that. Welcome in, April. Yeah, there's so much information about everything. I think I'm going to start doing some things are definitely going to have to be several parts. and we'll skip around, we'll hop around, and then we can do little things like this, because the Age of Aquarius was mentioned so much, covering astrotheology on Friday night. I was like, damn, let's do a little something with that. So I have some stuff pulled up. I feel like this background music is loud. Maybe it's I don't know. Professional YouTuber, guys. Professional YouTuber. But yeah, if I dip out again, I do have my phone, so I can still chat with you guys on my phone. And make sure you're on all messages and not top messages. Thank you, YouTube, for doing that. I don't know why. Oh, what's this other one? We'll listen to this other one. Okay. So, the Age of Aquarius. As it was discussed on Friday in astrotheology, and in conjunction with astrology, and I feel to astronomy, because everything, when you really get down to the brass tacks of it and you research stuff, everything's based on the stars and the planets and their alignments, and all of the math adds up. And I know I'm being very vague, but yeah, like look into things like where and how the pyramids are. Can you guys hear me? Put poops in the chat if you can hear me. You should be able to hear me. Oh, I really don't want to have to end this and start over. Okay, thank you, April. Yeah, poops, Motogoth, because there's a delay. So, like, I'll say something now, and then you guys will hear it now. So, or a little bit after. Okay, so Age of Aquarius. So we were in the Age of Pisces, which started about the time of Jesus, lasted for 2,000 years. And hi, Grateful Life, welcome in. It's good to see you, hun. Aw, I love I love my little chat. I like my little corner of YouTube. It's great. Oh, watch out for the killer potatoes. But my ADD is so bad with the chat. So there is a school of thought that all of the talk about the end times and things that are mentioned in the Bible can be interpreted, and it is believed that the ending of the Age of Pisces and the starting of the Age of Aquarius is what is referred to as like, see, because you hear the word apocalypse and you think asteroids crashing and continents breaking apart, volcanoes erupting, locusts falling from the sky, and when really there's a school of thought, we're moving into a new age. I'm sure that will be covered and much more eloquently than I can speak of it right now. And I find it very interesting. I do believe in astrology, because as we get more into different topics, like you'll see, like, dude, hella shit is based on the stars and the planets and how they move. And I have this like meme. It's like from Earth's position or something, and I forget where it is on Earth. If you watch like the movement of certain planets and stuff, it makes like sacred geometric shapes. It's really cool. I'll have to find that. Yes, I keep The amount of Age of Aquarius 70s disco song results I got while researching stuff for this, and I've got to say, I miss like 2015, 2016 YouTube. It's not the same looking this stuff up and finding things. I'm just like, really? Really? So I'm going to work on learning some basic editing so I can grab some stuff and just kind of smush things down for us, or, edit something together, grabbing things from here or there. So I don't know. I just like Googled some things, but yeah, see, oh, look at this. In the Age of Aquarius, when was it supposed to begin? December 21st, 2012. Do we remember the whole Mayan calendar thing in 2012? Because I do. And truth be told, I think between then and like 2015, CERN, which we are going to cover CERN, pulled some shit and timelines happened, and there's the Mandela effect. Because I know what Darth Vader said. I know I grew up reading the Berenstain Bears, not the Berenstain Bears. Um, I know what I grew up with because they were all very poignant things in my life. And yeah, there's some weird shit out there. So I have a whole playlist as I do. Some are shorter, some are longer. Um, there's one, of course, Papa Maxwell has got to be in here. We love Papa Maxwell on this channel. Ooh, ham and beans. The term Armageddon comes from an ancient Israeli city named Megiddo, please, phonetics, hooked on phonics, with Har meaning hill. It was a city on a hill, and there was a major battle there. Armageddon means last battle. Thank you. Yeah, and feel free to all that kind of stuff. I'd like to eventually have some I'm sorry. My speech is not what I want it to be today. I'm very flustered right now. Um I know some of you out there know more about certain things than I do, and I can only research so much. And I was talking to somebody about like sacred geometry and Stonehenge situation might deal. Um and like having them come up and talking about it, cuz I think they've been there, and I'm like, damn, like that'd be fun. Megiddo. Megiddo? Megiddo? Megiddo. Okay. Did you hear they fixed the Houston we have a problem Mandela effect? Like, I'm sorry. I know what Darth Vader said. Darth Vader said, Luke, I am your father. He did not say, no, I am your father. You can't tell me otherwise. I know what the fuck Darth Vader said. You can't. There's so many things. I'm like, and I think it's based on like what timeline you're from. Seriously, I've had the same. Like, I'll hear a celebrity died, rest in peace, Tina Turner, and I'll be like, didn't they die already? And seriously, my mom will be like, yeah, they did. Isn't this like the second time they've died? I'm like, I think so. So I've had celebrities and stuff die several times. I'm like, oh, cool, so and so died again. Wow, really? But yeah, we will talk about the Mandela effect and such. All right, let's get into some of these videos and get to doing what we came here for. I don't want this to be too long, so we're going to start out with Papa Maxwell. pull his up first. This is from a channel called The International with an E. All links are in my description. That is not what I wanted to do. Ooh. And I put a copyright disclaimer. I don't know if that's going to have any effect on things, but these streams always get copyright claimed, which, like I said, is fine. It's fine. I don't get any credit for the views, which aren't that much, but what ifs. Okay. So we're going to start out with Papa Maxwell, and then I think I'm going to go into the video about the Hopi Indians. I just added a bunch of stuff. I had like 6 Audible credits. I've got some MK Ultra I added. I added some more self-studying material for Islam. I'm very excited. Some Hopi Indian prophecies, some Operation Paperclip, some good stuff. I just have to actually listen to it. All right, so let's get this going. And again, this is Jordan Maxwell, Age of Aquarius.
Something into the discussion from a listener now. I don't have their name. I have their email address, so I'm just going to call them Mo based on their email address. Okay. Mo asks this interesting question. I want to tail on with something here because I think that this question is going to go a lot deeper than the listener even thought. So here we go. Might the idea of a future global war fought over water have more to do with the coming age of Aquarius rather than the shortage of fresh water? That is their question. But I want to add something here. To me, this has nothing to do with Aquarius. It's, in fact, a much more scary thing because it is literally, if you think about it, water in and of itself is life.
Mm-hmm.
So there is nothing on this planet that survives without it. So when people are battling over resources, oil, I realize, is an important thing, and plenty of blood has been spilled. And listen, blood has been spilled, will be spilled, and is being spilled continuously for various resources, diamonds, natural gas, steel. It doesn't.
I'm debating whether I want to cover the Anunnaki and Sumeria this Friday or exorcisms. Let me know because I only have like a little. Well, I have a little bit of time to throw some stuff together. I don't know. I feel like I'm not finding stuff I want about the Anunnaki, but yeah, because that just. I think they came here for like gold and the minerals and they needed mining and they saw the Neanderthals and they're like boop, boop, boop in the lab. There you go. Adam and Eve, this, that, the other thing, humans, blah, 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 whatever. Can you guys hear this? Okay. Sorry. I am all over the place. This is as loud as I can get it. Okay.
Matter. Different parts of our history show us this, but the fact that it's now being turned to water is interesting because at the end of the day, there is no one, no matter what their riches are, no matter what their power is, their ability to move a vehicle or anything else, it's all irrelevant if you have a locked control over life itself.
Mm-hmm.
And to control water is to control life. I think it's got a lot more to do with that.
And I'm sorry, please, if you're not already aware, and I need to go back and refresh my memory on it because I read it and watched some videos and I was so upset I didn't retain or process any of it. The World Health Organization is like, oh, there's going to be another panini and it's going to be worse, and we want all of this authority to control the world and what you can and can't and this and mandates and requirements. You thought the last panini was but no, it's, please look into that. I might do I don't know if anybody'd want it, but I might do a stream on that because talk about an overreach of governmental organizational authority. Fuck off. And all of this controlling the food, putting whatever in the food supply, um, the water, the power grid. Why all of a sudden are gas stoves? New York State passed a law. All new construction has to be electric. No more gas stoves, which cooking on gas is a fucking delight. I miss it. They want everything, our cars, everything to be electric. Okay, cool. What happens when the power grid goes down for whatever reason? What happens? And if you want to run a generator, what do you need to run a generator? Gas, fuel. It just, something's not right, y'all. So I'm so glad I'm 44 because, oh my God, I don't want to.
That than Aquarius easily. And I think that that's a much more scary thing. I think it's also, dare I say it, it's actually a ritualistic, magical kind of thing
Okay.
that's going on when people are beginning to battle over these elements, these very basic elements of life itself.
Okay, we can do
More than
Anunnaki.
oil, more than anything else that's ever been battled over. So, Jordan, again, the question is, do you think that this has to do with the coming age of Aquarius? And I add the question, do you think that there is an esoteric aspect to this that is actually ritualistic, actually magical, and not in the magical, wonderful world of whatever sort of way, but really in a deep, dark sort of, we're going to get a stranglehold over life itself on the planet kind of agenda, which goes right to serving the adversary who does indeed rule this particular world. So those two questions I throw at you, and I think that this is going to be a dark and deep subject immediately. But keep in mind the first part of it is, does it have to do with the coming age of Aquarius? The fact that
All
this
right,
is
let him
happening,
answer, bro.
and secondly,
Oh
do
my
you want to
God.
speak to the more esoteric aspects of the battle over water on the planet in a religious context?
Well, I don't think Aquarius is going to affect us that are listening today because it's not going to be around for another couple, 300 years. We're not in the age of Aquarius yet and won't be around for at least a couple, three, maybe 400 years yet.
Okay, so I can tell this was shortly before Jordan died. Um, so Jordan's saying we've still got another couple hundred years to go. Oh, Papa Maxwell, I hope you're looking out for us, bro.
Before Aquarius will be here officially. And obviously, there's going to be a symbolic implication to the world of the age of Aquarius. Sometimes I've often thought it meant a time when the world will be washed up. That's what we're looking at. We're getting to the point where we're running out of everything, running out of answers, and we're running out of materials. We're running out of everything. We're running out of our minds, and so it looks like maybe the world's going to be washed clean of all the ludicrous stuff that we're into. Maybe that's what it means. But I know that Aquarius is no longer going to be a problem we're going to have to deal with, we who are living today, because it's not coming for quite a few years. Because you've got to know, where did the other astrological signs begin?
Irma Gerd and Stephanie C, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for being here.
Where was the one just before us? The one we're in right now is Pisces. Well, in order to know when Aquarius arrives
Pisces is the
officially,
fish,
you have to know where
the two
did
fish.
Pisces, the one we're in now, where did that age officially begin? And so each age is 2,150 years long.
Mm.
Well, if each age is 2,100 years long, when did Pisces begin? The age of Pisces with the two fish, which is the age of religion. Well, we've been involved with religion and churches and faith and all of that for the past 1,600 years, since the founding of the Catholic Church 1,600 years ago, and the Vatican. And the age of Aquarius, it seems to point to the fact that age of Aquarius officially began about the 4th century AD. That's what the best I can come up with, the best evaluations I have seen. That makes sense to me is that Pisces began around the 4th century
Okay, he
AD
corrected himself.
in our time
He
in
was old.
AD. And so you count 2,150 years from the 4th century AD, and that puts us at the beginning of the Age of Aquarius in somewhere around 2,400 something.
Mm.
Well, we're in 21, so we got about 300 and some odd years to go yet.
I hope he's right, because transitions, even if it's like smooth and into a good thing, transitions are always painful, right? New beginnings, closing one door, chapter into another, even if it even if it's moving into your dream home and your dream city, there's still going to be stress and headaches and all that. I don't want to be here for it. I always tell myself, I'm like, flag this, don't come back. Do not come back here. Once you're out of this meat suit, do whatever you can or you need or you want to do from back home on the other side. Do not incarnate here again. I know the lattes and the dogs and the tacos are fucking amazing, but just hashtag fatty.
But this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This is not the age. This is the dawning of the age. That's what the song says. And why do we call it the dawning?
Drive
Because
safe,
the
Cher.
sun has not risen yet in the age of Aquarius. It hasn't come up. The stars on the eastern, on the eastern horizon are not in Aquarius. They're still in Pisces.
Right, and we talked at length about the dawning of and the idea that there are effects before you can actually see the sun when the dawning is occurring.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't literally when the sun is up.
That's right.
When you're talking about dawning, and the thing is that when you put it together here, and you say, okay, 4th century, that means that when the calendar read about 300 is when this happens. So if the calendar's reading 2000 now, that means the calendar's got to read 2400 in order to even get there. But in all fairness, the listener did ask the coming age. Does it have to do with the coming age of Aquarius, which, in a relative sort of way is soon to happen, but hasn't yet happened, obviously, like you said. So do you think that has anything to do with this battle that's going on over the resource of water at this time?
Well, I think maybe that has something to do with it, but I'm also interested in the fact that all financial institutions of the world of mankind operate under something called maritime admiralty law.
I've talked about this. All the courts operate under what Jordan just said, maritime admiralty law. Courts and laws are not what you think they are and what we are told they are. I'm a firm believer in this.
Maritime admiralty law is referred to in law as the law of the sea, the law of water. And that's why we say money goes through your hands like water. No, money is water. And so Aquarius is.
Think about that. You can go, 10 days without eating food? But what's the most you can go without water? It's like a day or two at best. You can go longer without food than water unless you're Chantel. But we pay for bottled water, filtered water. Let's contaminate the water and then sell them the water. Aaron Brockovich, who? Yeah, just like if you just stop to like take a statement like that, like it's all about the water, and just stop and think and just kind of let your mind and the what ifs and oh, what about that? No, I never thought about that. And just kind of leapfrog from lily pad to lily pad. And don't worry about, oh, it sounds crazy, or oh, that doesn't make sense, or oh, that's not what we're told. Some fuck shit is afoot.
It's a sign of the man with the water pitcher pouring water out into the earth. So it seems there was an incredibly important book put out on this subject by a professor in Texas. The name of the book was called Fire and Ice. Get it if you can find it. Fire and Ice. And I think his name was Professor Flowers. Professor Flowers
Okay.
wrote a book called Fire and Ice. And in it, he talks about the coming age of Aquarius and ties it, connecting it directly to the Brotherhood of Saturn, or the powers behind the world revolutionary movement of Adolf Hitler and the Soviet communism.
Saturn worship is another thing I want to delve into, and that goes back to Hollywood, um, all the Satanism and stuff, and the shit that's going on right now. I'm not even going to go there during the stream.
Especially with Adolf Hitler and the Germanic peoples of the
Oh,
world, and
is
shows
Layla
how this
here?
whole idea
Layla.
of the coming
Layla.
of the age of Aquarius is not going to be very pretty.
Mm.
It's not going to be happy. This is the kind of stuff Adolf Hitler was preparing the world for. Well, if
Mm.
that's the case, then you have to know it's going to be an incredible world we're going to live in, because Adolf Hitler realized that there was coming an age of Aquarius and he was preparing the world for that. And so, what happened to the earth during the Second World War? Well, that's what's going to happen to the earth in the coming of the age of Aquarius.
Is that why he was looking for all of the ancient artifacts and whatnot? And I need to find that book again. I need to see if that's on Audible and I can grab it and see what's on YouTube and what's available. If I can pay for something, or I don't know what's out there, but again, I say there was a reason Indiana Jones always in Egypt and whatever fighting off the Nazis, because they were looking for what? Powerful ancient relics and artifacts. But for why? Because good, bad, or in between, they knew, they understood the magnitude and power and what these were for and what they could do. I want to do a whole thing on Antarctica and all that stuff. And oh, there's so much.
Aquarius. It's going to be very, very different than you think it is.
Hi,
It's not going to be
Saturday.
some happy la la land imagined by spiritual people who think the age of Aquarius is going to be so wonderful. No, go back and read the book Fire and Ice by Professor Flowers. In it, he talks about how there's going to be a lot of strange connections to that age of Aquarius, with other astrological signs implicated in it, what it really means it's going to be like, what the world's going to be like when it hits the age of Aquarius. And it's a very powerful book, Fire and Ice. And I think that the world is going to be a horrible place to live in. It's going to be a tragic, horrible place to live in when we hit the age of Aquarius
Yep.
officially. And I think the reason why is because look where we humans have come from in the past 200 years.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be on the other side with me and my sweet little baby boy Winston. And I don't want to be here. I do not want to come back after this. Nope, I'm done. I've had enough. The summer camp sucks. I want to go home.
Years, a little over 200 years from the founding of our great republic to the horrible world of tyranny, communism, Marxist Leninist communism, fascism, bloodletting murderers, and all kinds of horrible things going on in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
Look where we have gone down. Look where we have fallen
The
down
bad
to.
guys are in
Well,
charge.
just sit tight,
Mm.
because the world's not getting any better. It's
Nope.
getting worse
Mm.
and worse by the day. And so, where are we going to be in the next 300 years?
Which is why I say again, this planet is difficult. Life is hard. Life sucks. Find the good ones. Find the good people. Hold on to them. Nurture those. Nurture those relationships and yourself. Take care of each other. Get a dog. Have a latte. Enjoy your tacos.
when the age of Aquarius begins. And I have no idea how bad it's going to be, but from the past 250 years, we have really hit the bottom today, and our country is being destroyed from inside. And like the Bible has said, no house can, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Well, if there's ever been a house divided against itself, it's America. One half of our country hates our country. One half of our country hates the president. They hate the government. They want to destroy this country. They want to destroy what we have built, what people have died to build in this country, give us freedom and liberty and justice and a wonderful way of life and relationship.
I know I'm being quiet because I'm listening, but also this has a couple minutes left. I'm going to let it play, and I need to go check on something because I just heard a very loud crash.
To the rest of the world, but one half of the country are fascists, murdering morons who want to destroy this country and destroy its government, destroy the people, and give away our country to foreign people. And so I know that, given the fact that a house divided against itself cannot stand, I don't know how much longer America is going to be alive, how much longer we're going to actually live
Wow. Yeah, it's what I thought it was.
in the country that we live in and experiencing the wonderful life that we live here today in America, because a house divided against itself cannot stand, and we are falling very quickly. And the reason why is we have allowed the tyranny of fascists and murderers to teach our children. They have been university professors who have been teaching our children revolution, violence, pornography, revolution, all kinds of, you know,
When a parent goes to a school board meeting and reads from a book and is stopped in that school board meeting because the material being read and discussed is inappropriate and of an adult nature, near pornographic, and the parent of a child in that school cannot read it in the school board meeting, yet that book is freely available to all the children at the school. Does that make sense? Sure fucking doesn't. Sure doesn't. The world is in a complete state of chaos. We need reason, logic, like we need to pump the brakes and slow the fuck down. We need to use our brains and put our feelings to the side and use our brains a little more because all this is what this is. I had a real heated debate with somebody earlier today because we were discussing some things and I made a statement which I'm not going to make right now, and then I explained a whole bunch of things to them, like, gee, that being told I don't know how my body works and that intestines cause menstrual cramps, not my uterus. Um, just like crazy things are happening. Um, and all balance is gone. All logic. It's just two groups of people and some of us in the middle, like two groups of people screaming at each other and some of us in the middle that are just like, well, I can see that point and I can see that point, but can we just all sit down and talk? And I think that's where I'm at with a lot of this, but like, yeah, just the world, society is in chaos and the pendulum has swung too far. We need to pump the brakes, breathe, reel it back in. Let's use our logic, right? Our brains. Not everything's about your feelings. Like, I'm not saying feelings and people don't matter, but um yeah, like it's a bit much right now.
subversive teachings in universities and not allowing the university students to express themselves. We have something called political correctness, where you cannot open your mouth and say
Oh,
what you think because you'll be mocked and laughed at or kicked out of university.
thank you, Papa Maxwell. What Papa Maxwell just said. I got my hair cut today. Your girl's looking cute. I've got so much hair. I'm like, let's grow it out. Like, talk about a head of hair. I had the entire salon in a kerfuffle, and all it took was 4 words and just panties, just colon level, not panties. It was great.
And if the professors try and explain to you what's really going on,
You
they will
can't
lose their
disagree.
job. And so
Nope.
I see the whole of Western civilization and humanity in general certainly going toward a
Sarah
day of
Kay.
incredible collapse.
Mm.
That's where we're going. That's what we're heading for. A world collapse is coming, and we cannot continue to do the things that we've done and view the world the way we view it, and promoting the bloodshed and the violence and the crap that we are in education and universities and
Mm-hmm.
entertainment, movies, all the pornography, violence, sex and drug rituals, and religion.
Y'all hear about the big Target kerfuffle? And listen, I'm all for pride. I I was raised by 2 main groups of people. One were all of the amazing cholas, tias, abuelitas, tias, tios, in Bucktown in the 80s, right? Heavily Puerto Rican neighborhood. And Puerto Rico is a freaking, it's a U.S. territory. If you know about that thing that happened in New Orleans, again, follow me on Twitter. My link's in the description. And then the second major group of people that helped raise me were my mom worked in Boys Town. So I grew up around the LGB community. TIA added back then, it was like, you know, and I grew up and that was my normal. And I didn't understand, like, why don't people like you because you like boys and you are a boy? Like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I didn't understand. But Target's in a bit of trouble right now. I'm all for having, like, you know, pride stuff and whatever in, like, the adult sections. Um, and keep in mind the this collection for children was designed by a known Satanist, and Target had a big old meeting and was like, especially in the South, psst, 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 move all that shit to the back because people are pissed off. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Blondie. Welcome in. I'm not saying people don't. Everyone should have a right to be who they are and who and how they want to be. No one should shove anything down anyone else's throat. I don't care what it's about. And I am a conundrum. I am pro choice. Don't tell me what to do with my body. Don't you tell my sisters what to do with their bodies. I am pro choice. But I'm also a gun owner and I believe in the Second Amendment. Those two things have a hard time computing with I'm sure you guys understand. It's like does not compute because I look at each issue individually and like I will never be an across the board voter. I'm usually in the middle and I'll lean one way or the other, especially if it's something more personal, like women's health, women's rights, women, women, um, guns, healthcare. Those are like my hot button issues, right? I just think, again, but I'm also a Libra. Let's be balanced and fair and logical and like, Julie, it's no one's ever going to be totally satisfied with like everything and the way things are done. But I think the issue is, I will say, like on the left side of things, the liberal, quote unquote, woke side, things are so extreme and so based on feelings. Whereas on the other side, on the right side, where it's, logic and um, it's like a lot more, literally straight and narrow and whatever. And I think both they've gone so far left and right. You've got assholes like me in the middle, and I'm like, where? I'm like, where'd everybody go? Where are the lattes? I'm like, where the fuck did everybody go? And I'm like, wait, everybody just come back. Like, just relax, have a latte, grab a taco. Can we relax and just sit and talk in the middle and like chill out? But I think the chaos and the disruption and the such like here and there and this and that and bruh is part of all of this, which is why I'm talking about it, the Age of Aquarius, because Irma, I'm not gonna lie, I'd pick the right side too. I'd say I'm a secret conservative. I'll say that. Um, and that doesn't mean I agree with everything and I'm a whatever, but I'm sure people will attack me and that's fine. Because I'd rather get attacked first, speaking my truth, than staying silent. But moreover, I'm a fucking Libra and I just think everything should be like chill and like let's talk and like can we all calm down? Like I make some really good fried chicken. I'll make some fried chicken. And dude, I've got chili crisp. Do you know about the chili crisp? And let's just sit down and have a conversation. But again, I think a large part of everything going on is there's a lot of things going on we don't understand here behind the scenes on earth with people. Oh, Irma, you're not wrong. Secret, because no one's allowed to say shit anymore. No, you're not wrong. If I sit here and I say that my definition of a woman is somebody that is born with a uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, I'm going to get canceled. Even though that's scientifically correct, I'm going to get in trouble. But again, I'm just a fucking idiot, and I need to be told by a 30-year-old man on estrogen who identifies as a woman that I don't know how my own body works because my menstrual cramps aren't caused by my uterus flushing out the uterine lining it didn't need to use that month because my egg was not fertilized. No. My cramps are, in fact, caused by my intestines. And how stupid am I that at 44 years old, I didn't know this? I'm being sarcastic, of course. Yeah, true Libra, trying to be common ground. And I don't want to alienate anybody, but see, and this is so uncomfortable. And I know I'm going to get in trouble, and I lost subscribers when I went on my rant on Friday and whatever, and that's fine. Because well, here's the thing, Sarah Kay. People do know how periods work, especially if you're a biological woman, but, I see 16-year-old biological males that have been on estrogen for 6 months buying tampons and are like, where am I supposed to stick this? I can tell you there's one there's one place. There's one place Like it's the coddling, and we're past the point of logic into, in my opinion, flat out fucking delusion, and it's being encouraged. And it's yes, oh, you're right, oh, we're not gonna tell you no because we don't want to hurt your fifis. And wow, this is the chaos that happens before a society collapses. Look historically, look at the Roman civilization. Look, when the Roman civilization started to crumble, this is exactly what started happening. Oh, we're fucked. I know, Illyria. I appreciate you guys. And you know what? And that's fine. Nobody has to stay here and listen, whether I'm talking about this or Gore World, which, if you didn't listen to my Sunday stream, it's not too long. Please go back and listen, because I was such an asshole about I was like funny asshole, you know. It was great. It was a great stream. It was very funny. Yeah.
We're not going to continue. Something is going to happen to the world of mankind. And I know, and I can feel it coming. I know that we're coming to a place where we're going to collapse. And when we do,
Yep.
it's going to be a horrible situation. And God knows how it's actually going to look and what the world is going to look like in the age of Aquarius. But from what Professor Flowers wrote in his book, Fire and Ice, it's not going to be very pretty. If you start looking at all the accompanying information in astrology, is that the age is coming is going to be a very, very seriously, incredibly bad thing coming for us. We are heading down a wrong road. And it's just too bad, because I know that most people have no idea in the world what I'm talking about. But our future is very, very dark.
And I'm going to end that there. Stop sharing. And I want, hold up. Dogmatic Theology series. Hold on. I need to save this. Hold, please. Dogmatic Theology series. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. I got to write this down. The International. Yeah, we'll be watching that soon. Oh shit. I love me some Papa Maxwell. Listen, Papa Maxwell, that's my dude. Okay, let's get back to my playlist. So that, you know, Jordan, we're gonna watch how long is this one? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I want to watch one. I know there's one that's like a little shorter. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, this one. We're going to take a little break. We're going to take a little breather real quick. Just a couple. Just how's everyone doing? Are we good? How's everyone doing? Let me get to the comments. Yeah, I know I'm going to get myself fucking canceled. Everyone's going to be like, Raven's great, but like, do you hear the shit she says? And I'll be like, a lot of people are thinking it. I'm just the one saying it. What up, Blush? Words are so hard. Aquarius is. See, I get along with like Aquarius women. I cannot date Aquarius men, Scorpio men. Let's be honest, any men. I've been single by choice for 8.5 years, so who am I kidding? I'm happy by myself. Oh my God. Woman. Sarah K is my woman. I have a girl crush on Sarah K. I will say that. Because she's amazing. And she's gorgeous and she's beautiful and she's funny. And I love her so much. I love you so much. That's my, what's his face? I love her so much. The guy with the makeup and the Rich Lux. So yeah. Wow. I really do have a hard time controlling my mouth. Sorry. I don't know. So Jordan's saying we've got until we've got another couple hundred years, you know? Yes, I have ham and beans. I've heard you talk about Sumerians. I'm sure you have heard of the Epic of Gilgamesh and the guy who was the original Noah. Yes, I know of whom you speak, and I actually have some videos in my playlist I need to go through because I know all of that's intertwined. Hammond, I know your Twitter handle. Please feel free to DM me anything that you feel I need to include with that. That kind of stuff, that kind of vibe, please. I'm very open to suggestions, criticism, feedback, all that fun stuff. That Sarah K, that we are not in the age of Aquarius, as some people had thought. That it's not going to be here for another couple hundred years, which is fine by me because things are just a whole ass mess and they're going to get worse. So I'm fine not being here. All right, so let's go on to our next one because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stream. Because, yeah, remember when I was I heard a big crash? Yeah. Because, So this is, oh gosh, what? The Age of Aquarius, humanity's major transition. Everyone's links are in my description. Everyone copyright claims it anyway, so whatever.
The Transition from the Age of Pisces to Aquarius by Arjun Walia. Astrology is an ancient art and science dating back thousands of years. It appears in many cultures, but as with most ancient wisdom, much of it has been concealed and forbidden from the public view.
Yeah, see?
Secret societies, both those whose hearts are grounded in the goodwill of all of humanity, and those driven by greed, personal gain, have also used this type of ancient knowledge. From Atlantis to ancient Sumer, Vedic astrology to ancient Greece,
Vedic,
Rome and Egypt. Many great minds throughout the ages have practiced astrology, and for good reason. Despite its many skeptics, astrology has much to offer. It's also important to mention.
Look there's me. Boop, boop, boop. Dude, there's Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini. And I know there's a whole May versus June Gemini. My friend's birthday, I don't know if it's the 30th or the 31st, but his birthday's coming up. Taurus. My brother's a Taurus. Both of my parents are Virgos. Lord help me. Aries, Pisces, Aquarius. There you are, Sarah. You're right there. Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Scorpio, and me. Boop, 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 boop.
Here that many of our founding fathers of modern science, especially in the fields of mathematics and physics and quantum physics, were all spiritual mystics. Today, science begins to study non-physical phenomena. It will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Nikola Tesla. A New Age astrology speaking, for man began at the dawn of Christianity. Prior to this, we had the secret societies, concepts like the Philosopher's Stone and other magical concepts, including the use of magic and sorcery. With the advent of Christianity, the concept of God took their place. Yet more recently, concepts that were used and practiced prior to the beginning of modern-day religion have been emerging once more, which is interesting because we are at the end of an age and transitioning into a new one. There is discrepancy among experts where exactly we are, but most seem to agree that we are in a very important transition period. In Western astrology, we are transitioning from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. In ancient Vedic astrology, we are at the beginning of the end of a 300 cycle. currently living in the transition period at the end of the Kali Yuga age.
Mm-hmm. That. Okay, this is CERN. This is fucking CERN right here, if you don't know. The Large Hadron Collider. I like how they just put this fucking image in here with fucking CERN. Yeah, we're gonna cover CERN.
The Vedic doctrine also tells us what Western astrology philosophies do and correlates with the cycles described by ancient Native American wisdom as well. They tell us
That's the next one we're going to watch is one about the Hopi prophecies, and I just downloaded um, an audiobook on Audible about that, and we will be covering that in the future.
we are living in the age of darkness.
I got a lot
also
of research
described
to
in the
do.
Mahabharata, a time where mental capabilities reach their lowest point and moral virtue is stripped from the earth.
Look at this. This is all demonic shit. This is like sacrifice to me, like Moloch. Look, why do you think Target has a fucking Satanist designing shit for kids? Why? This shit, I was a kid in the 80s and a teenager in the 90s. This shit would not have been acceptable. Why? Why is it more important for, I don't know, let's pick a grade, a 6th grade teacher where the kids are like, what, 11, 12 years old? That they're on social media boo-hooing and crying because I can't discuss with my students what my pronouns are. Your students don't need to know what your pronouns are. You know what they need to know? Long division, how to write and speak properly. We don't even teach cursive anymore. Great. Who's going to read the Constitution in a couple hundred years when all of us cursive reading and writing folks are dead? Isn't that fucking weird? But again, why do your students need to understand? Just tell them what to call you, and the kids will fucking call you that. Because guess what? They don't give a shit. When I was a kid back in my day, if a teacher would have come into the classroom and started talking about their personal sexuality, sex life, whatever identity, they would have been fired because that was unfucking acceptable. You're there to teach children, not groom them. But again, this is a perfect fucking picture of where we're heading right now.
As independent researcher Bibhu Dev Misra writes, when the world's soul is full of blackness and corruption and only a small fraction of virtue remains, it slowly dwindles to zero. At the end of the Kali Yuga, men turn to wickedness, disease, lethargy, anger, anguish, and fear of scarcity dominate. Penance, sacrifices, and religions. These descriptions accurately reflect our society's progression. As we move through modern history, this past age, which has lasted approximately 2,100 years, is coming to an end. A conclusion marked by a time.
I didn't have to ride my dinosaur to school, Cuppy, because I'm Burb. I can fly. I'm Burb. Welcome and thanks for being here.
When global tensions have never been so high. During this
Fucking
age,
North Korea.
humanity has indeed experienced the most darkness, and so it seems, the more ancient a civilization, the more spiritually and technologically advanced they might have been. Also interesting because after this age ends, we will be cycling back to the beginning of an age that hasn't been seen since the time of great knowledge and understanding of the spiritual science.
Chakras. Get your chanklas aligned. Keep your anus tight.
Mysticism, consciousness, and nonism in general. This all seems to be part of a massive shift in collective consciousness that is going on today. Carl Jung's explanation. Dr. Jung writes,
That's another title I have in my Audible. Well, I think, yeah, Carl Jung.
as we know from ancient Egyptian history, These events are symptoms of psychic changes that always appear.
Everything is energy. You're going to get sick of hearing me fucking say it. Everything is energy. I know some of you understand when I say that. Some of you think I understand when I say that. But please, as we go along with all this shit, and I have different conversations with you in various, times and ways and whatever, please let me know if there's ever a day where you're like, damn, Raven, I get it. Everything is energy. And I'm going to be like, bruh, let's go get a latte and a taco because fuck yeah.
Here at the end of one platonic month and at the beginning of another, there are, it seems, changes in the constellation of psychic dominance of the archetypes or gods, as they used to be called, which bring about or accompany long-lasting transformations of the collective psyche. This transformation started within the historical tradition and left traces behind it, first in the transition from the age of Taurus to that of Aries, and then from Aries to Pisces, whose beginning coincides with the rise of Christianity, mentioned above. We are now nearing the great change, which may be expected when the spring point enters Aquarius.
Telling you.
The quote above is taken from his book, Flying Saucers, a modern myth of things seen in the sky. Carl Jung, contrary to popular belief, was a heavy researcher into the topic of UFOs. During the time he published his book, he also accused the Air Force for covering up information about the subject. Hall explains Jung's quote above. Jung is telling us that the Platonic year is a problem in timing, and that we call the processional motion of the equinoxes results in the vernal equinox changing about every 2,100 years, and that these changes correspond to the months of the Great Platonic year, which consists of something over 25,000 years. He is telling us, therefore, that these changes arise in nature, in cosmos, in space, are due to certain gradual transformations of archetypes, and that these archetypes mean that in nature, this clock is active, and that this clock is continuously moving, passing from one cyclic division to another.
Trying to take all this in. I know I understand this. Because, like I said, I've been studying all this kinds of shit for years. There's more. There's more, just in general, than we are told. There's more to us. There's more to energy. There's more to. And think of yourself out of this meat suit. Like, if you can, if you want. Not, you don't have to do anything. I'm just saying. It's a lot. I get overwhelmed. It's like, okay, cool. Like CERN. Why? Why? Why do they need to do that? Like, I get science and curiosity and everything, but like, why are we fucking with like dark matter and like smashing shit together? And I think they're trying to, and have opened a portal. There is ooh, hold on, let me write it down. CERN. They opened like a new part to the tunnel, and they had this opening ceremony. If that wasn't the most fucking Satan worshipping, evil, fucking demon summoning bullshit I ain't ever seen in my fucking life. Wow. There's rituals in front of us all the time. Just watch the Grammys or the Met Gala.
Could undoubtedly gather a powerful body of information to prove that at each of these vital periods, these periods in which the general dominant of the world changes, there has been a mark, an important social, psychological change in the life of individuals. Hall then goes on to say, The life of the individual is in relationship to the life of the collective. That this phenomenon of the flying saucers should arise as the vernal equinox moves towards the Aquarian point, and that this consequently implies, as it did to the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, and also to many Asiatic people.
Layla. Oh, sweetie. It's okay. You know what? That's okay. You know what? That's all you need to be is open-minded. Explore, talk to people. I'll just tell you this. If you ever run into anybody that is like, this is the truth, no matter what it is. If they believe that God is um, you know, a ball of cheese that lives on the dark side of the moon and has a pet emu, and that's what they believe, and they're not open to anything else, and run away. Talk to people that are like, let's have a conversation, all sides, both sides, whatever. Like, again, trust your energy, trust the energy you get, trust your instinct, use that. And it's okay. I've studied a lot of this, I understand a lot of it. There's some of it I've forgotten and I need to like recomprehend, and some of it I'm just like, meh. But I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. And flying spaghetti monster, pastafarians, where you at? I know all about the flying spaghetti monster. Pastafarian, what's up? That Sarah K, if we need to work out a custody schedule for the brain cell we share. Okay. Could you Discord me, message me in Discord after, because we need to work out a custody schedule. And it shitted in my eye. I love you so much. But yeah, this is what I'm here for. Oh, interesting, Layla. I didn't know that. Wow. You know what? You're in the right spot. We're going to talk about some fun stuff, some weird stuff, some heavy stuff. But one thing, it's always going to be an open discussion. My Twitter link is in my bio or the description. Follow me on Twitter if you aren't already. And please feel free to, any questions or just whatever conversation, we can talk. And if there's one thing people could say about me, it's I'm a discreet burb. I am a private burb.
Peoples, a major motion of world consciousness, world pressure, and that this motion is from a water sign to an air sign, and that therefore the atmospheric mystery, the mystery of air, and that which is concealed within air must become increasingly psychologically dominant for a period of more than 2,000 years to come.
Thank you, Sarah.
Human consciousness in space. Scientific literature is clear on the fact that several physiological...
Like, I know it's not like an actual picture of it and they have to like compensate for whatever, but I don't know. Isn't it weird how like pictures of galaxies look like a human eye? How the root system of a tree, you compare that to the placenta of a woman after giving birth, a woman, a woman, a whole woman, and it they look the same. There's so many, it's just little things like that where I'm like, that's not coincidence. That's divine design. And so I feel like the age of Aquarius is first and foremost, I don't know how people can disregard the stars and the constellations and the planets and the effects that they have on everything. Because we live on a planet. We live on one tiny little one, the third rock from the sun. But everybody wants to just disregard the universe and everything around us because we're told, oh, that's not real. Astrology is not real. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay. But that's like living in the middle of the ocean and being told the water's not important. Waves aren't important. There's nothing in the ocean you can like get for food. And why? We're going to believe it because we're told? It's the same concept to me. Like we live like am I making sense or am I just talking bird talk again? Oh, the struggle is real. Like, do you guys know what I mean? Oh, like how are we told it doesn't mean anything and to disregard it when we just hello? All right. I don't know. I just blew my own mind a little bit right there. So we're going to continue.
Logical rhythms and global collective behaviors are not only synchronized with solar and geomagnetic activity, but also that disruptions in these fields can create adverse effects on human health and behavior. The point is, at a biological level, we know that all life on Earth is linked in some way with solar, lunar, and possibly other cycles as well. There is also a great deal of evidence that human consciousness, which plays such a big role in quantum physics and other areas of non-material science, is directly connected to astrology in very peculiar ways.
I don't care what anyone's going to say about what I'm going to say right now. Have you guys ever heard of remote viewing? Where, like, you know, we wanted to do a little experimente. You know, somebody could set it up and be like, okay, Raven's going to remote view. And Sarah Kay would, you know, go, she would choose to go sit in the McDonald's nearest her house. And she'd get a milkshake and some chicken nuggies. And I would be told, okay, connect with Sarah Kay's energy and tell us where she's at. And I'll tell you what, I could see where she was at. I might not be 100% on everything. I was in a Discord chat. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So this is like what remote viewing is. I was in this Discord and it was just like a bunch of people and it was a while ago and it was like, oh, I can lucid dream or, you know, different abilities, Mandela effect type stuff. And we were all just like common interest talking. And I had a conversation with this one guy who was quite skeptical, but he's like, I don't know if I believe any of this. I don't know if this needs background music because this is a hell of a fucking story. We'll do this one. So I'm talking with this guy, like just in a Discord chat. And I'm like, well, you know, I get it. It's like, dude, there's people who are very analytical and logical. And it's Sarah. I love you guys. You know, it's hard to quote unquote believe in the stuff, especially again, I say we're told it's not real. We're told if you believe in this, you're crazy, you're stupid, you're a loony, right? Couldn't be further from the truth. I did not. I wanted to just let him know, like, it's real and it's okay to know it's real and say it's real and accept it's real. This guy, never talked to him, don't even remember his name. I feel so bad. I scared the ever-loving shit out of him, you guys, because all I did was, again, everything is energy. I centered, I did my stuff, I connected with his energy. I described the exact room he was in, how it was set up, the view from the room, that land, some of the history of it, who lived there, him, how shit was set up on his desk. And he was like can you see me? And I was like, well, no, like I'm like I don't have a camera in your room. I'm not, but yeah, I can see you, but not in the way you're thinking I can. I freaked this guy out so bad he never came back to the group. Because he didn't understand. He couldn't comprehend how I could do that. I can. I've learned. I don't know. I can do a lot of shit that sounds crazy. And I've been very hesitant to talk about it because you know what? I don't care if people think I'm crazy because good. Maybe if people think I'm crazy, then I can talk about certain people in Girl World community and they'll leave me alone because they'll be like, that Raven, she's batshit. And I'll be like, true that. Let's go get lattes. But I think you guys know me well enough to know I'm not bullshitting. I'm not lying. And that I'm the first one to sit here and be like, I'm not sure. You know, like I'll share some of my paranormal stories. But yeah, and again, I say, I'm not special. Everybody can do this. You know, I have one friend. She's like me. She's more nature in tuned. Like if the two of us were walking through the park, she'd be like, oh, look at that tree. It needs some energy. It needs some healing energy. And she'd run up and like give the tree some healing energy and talk to it. And I'd be like, look, it's a fucking tree. What can I blow up? That's just who we are at our core. And I love her to death. I hope you're listening, girl.
It was not possible to formulate the laws of quantum mechanics in a fully consistent way without reference to
Lord
consciousness. Quote by Max Planck.
Herb.
This article is from collectiveevolution.com.
I'm going to have to... There's a lot of good videos coming up. Okay. Where's this one? Oh, this one's a little long. Okay, I think Hopi Elder saw it all coming. All right, we're going to take a little... Breathe. How's everybody doing? Lord Burb, I saw you come in. How you doing, Lord Baroque? I hope you're feeling well. I'm very excited to see you. I'm very happy to see you. I send you gentle hugs. All of the good vibes and energy. Oh, Lord Burb, you need help with your eyebrows, Sarah? I love you, girl, but what you doing with Lord Burb's eyebrows? Are we good? Are we good with the eyebrows? I've got some powder and pencil if you guys need. Because your girl did her makeup today because I went and got my hair cut. I'm looking cute. Oh, it feels so good. I have so much hair. Okay. Everyone doing good. Whew. Sarah gave me my eyebrows back, but I couldn't find them. I have no idea what is going on between the two of you with the eyebrows, but I love it. It's like when I was in Hannibal's chat yesterday. Shout out, how's Hannibal? Oh my God, him, Belinda, they're like my two favorite like nighttime people. Saba and Yam. Wow. Yaba and Sam for the morning. And I'll dip in a bubble tea stream when I can catch one. Yeah. But I guess Hannibal didn't know about the whole Amberlynn Reed K-cup holder fiasco. And I was like, I got my K-cup holder ready because he's like, we're gonna watch You Guys Need to Realize. Fantastic channel, by the way. I'm gonna include them in my weekly recap. But I was making like comments about the K-cup holder and how like Destiny's mom like chucked it at Amber, and I was like, CCW who? I'm just gonna go around throwing K-cup holders at people. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Raven Star. It was great. I was like, if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you. Oh, I don't have Trichotillomania, Lord Baroque, but when I get very stressed out and anxious, I will like look through in any, especially now that I'm older, like hairs that aren't smooth, like, you know, the gray ones that are wiry, or if it's a certain texture, I'll pull it. And I do like I'm a bit of a picker, you know, but I try not to be. I went to school to be an esthetician, so what can I say? I just never got licensed because, yeah, things. All right, let's get into this. We're going to do 1.25 because I don't want this to take too long because, you know, I got to keep an eye on things. The child has become the parent.
Native people have many prophecies about this time. They say at the beginning of each cycle of time, the Great Spirit comes down through.
The sound isn't that great, and I know some of you are. Hold on. I'm not going to put any comments up, all right? Because there are. Hold on, I'm going to make it the whole screen because there are closed captions. So if you can't hear it very well, put your phone on landscape and just close the chat. So yeah, because I want everyone to be able to see the words as well as hear them. Okay, are we good? All right, let's go. This is Unbelievable Predictions. Hopi elders saw it all coming. And I'll tell you one thing, from the time I was a child, if there was anything I've ever had a fearful respect of, an interest, and just always felt a connection with, it was all of the native and indigenous beliefs and lores and stories, because I was like, that makes sense to me, and they know the truth. They know the truth, and I'm going to respect and listen, and I just have so much love and respect.
A messenger, he makes a strong appearance upon the earth, and we are coming to an end of a cycle now. It's not the first cycle. There was a cycle of spirit. There was a cycle of the mineral, the rock. There was a cycle of the plant. And now we're in the cycle of the animal, coming to the end of that and beginning the cycle of the human being. When we get into the cycle of the human being, the highest and greatest powers that we have will be released to us and be released from that light or soul that we carry to the mind. But right now we're coming to the end of the animal cycle, when we have investigated ourselves and learned what it is to be like an animal on this earth. And at the beginning of this cycle of time, long ago, the Great Spirit came down and he made an appearance. He gathered the peoples of the earth together, they say, on an island that is now beneath the water.
Would that island be Atlantis, which was real, but we're told isn't? Was that Atlantis?
And he said to the human beings, he said, I'm going to send you to 4 directions, and over time I'm going to change you to 4 colors. But I'm going to give you some teachings, and you will call these the original teachings. And when you come back together with each other, you will share these so that you can live and have peace on earth, and a great civilization will come about. And he said, during the cycle of time, I'm going to give each of you 2 stone tablets. And he said, when I give you those stone tablets, don't cast them upon the ground. Because if any of the brothers and sisters of the 4 directions and the 4 colors cast their stone tablets on the ground, not only will human beings have a hard time, but almost the earth itself would die. And so he gave us each a responsibility, and we call that the guardianship. And to the Indian people, the red people, he gave the guardianship of the earth. And we were to learn during this cycle of time the teachings of the earth, and the plants that grow from the earth, and the foods that you can eat, and the herbs that are healing. So that when we came back together with the other brothers and sisters, we could share this knowledge with them, because something good was to happen on the earth. And to the south, he gave the yellow race of people the guardianship of the wind, and they were to learn about the sky and breathing, and how to take that within ourselves for spiritual advancement. And they were to share that with us in this time. And to the west, where there's blackness of night, he gave the black race of people the guardianship of the water, and they were to learn the teachings of the water, which is the chief of the elements. It is the most humble and also the most powerful. And to the north, where there's white snow on this continent, he gave the white race of people the guardianship of the fire. And if you look at the center of many of the things they do, you will find the fire. In this light bulb, they say that is a white man's fire. If you look at the center of a car, you will find a spark. If you look at the center of the airplane, the train, you will find the fire. And the fire moves, also consumes. This is why it was the white brothers and sisters that began to move upon the face of the earth and reunite us as a human family, because they had the guardianship of the fire. This was their responsibility. And so a long time passed, and the Great Spirit gave each of the 4 races 2 stone tablets. Ours are kept at the Hopi Reservation in Arizona, at Four Corners area. I've talked to people from the Black...
I am not that far from Arizona. Ooh. Road trip.
race of people. Their stone tablets
If I can go
Mount
see
Kenya.
it. If I'm
They're kept by
allowed.
the Kikuyu tribe. I once had the honor of presenting a sacred pipe of the Kikuyu tribe carved from the red pipestone of Mount Kenya. One time I was at an Indian spiritual gathering. Medicine man from South Dakota put a beaded medicine wheel in the middle of the gathering, and it had the 4 colors in the 4 directions. And he asked the people, "Where is this from?" And they said, "Oh, probably Montana, South Dakota, maybe Saskatchewan." He said, "This is from Kenya." It was beaded just like ours, same colors. The stone tablets of the yellow race of people are kept by the Tibetans in Tibet. And the guardians of the traditions of the people of Europe are the Swiss. In Switzerland, they still have...
I can hear all of the woke leftists screaming, "Racist! This is racist!" No, it's not. Shut up.
have the mask day when each family
Calm
brings out its
down.
mask. They still know the colors of their families. They still know their symbols, some of them. Each of these 4 keepers happen to be people that live in the mountains. If you went straight through the Hopi reservation...
Sarah, I would trust this dude with my life. Just his energy is like, if I came to him and I said, "I'm going to die without water, I'm going to die without food, I'm going to die without this, I'm hurt, I'm injured," this man would give me his last drop of water to save my life. I can feel that about him. And I love and I respect him already.
To the other side of the world, he would come out in Tibet. The Tibetan word for sun is the Hopi word for moon, and the Hopi word for moon is the Tibetan word for sun, because they're on the opposite sides of the world. They said that the roads of this land would either go north-south or they would go east-west. If they went north-south, we would come together as brothers and sisters. But if they went east-west, there would be destruction, and almost the earth itself would have a hard time. So you all know the roads went east-west. They said things then would be lost from the east to the west. They would be lost from the south to the north. But they would come back from the west to the east and come back from the north to the south. So in 1976, from the west to the east coast of this land, from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., people carried a sacred pipe bundle by hand on foot across this land. Because they said if we carried this bundle across the earth, the powers would begin to come back. It was carried from west to east. They said a spiritual fire would be lit in the north, and it would come down the northwest coast of this land. This is it. We have the capacity to start the spiritual fire now here. The old people long ago seen it and foretold it. So we went through the cycle of time. Each of the 4 races went to their directions and they learned their teachings. Then we were given a sacred handshake to show when we came back together as brothers and sisters that we remembered the teachings. It was indicated on the stone tablets that the Hopis had that the first brothers and sisters that would come back to them would come as turtles across the land. They would be human beings, but they would come as turtles. So when the time...
I love turtles. I love turtles so much. And I've always been drawn to turtles because I know there's all the stories like, oh, the turtles and they're wise and they're old and, like Never Ending Story. The wise old creature in the swamp is a turtle. But I have always felt like they do carry a certain knowledge and energy about them. And I love me some turtles.
Came close, the Hopis built a special village to welcome the turtles that would come across the land. And they got up in the morning and looked out at sunrise. And they looked out across the desert and they saw the Spanish coming covered in armor like turtles across the land. So this was them. So they went out to the Spanish man and they extended their hand, hoping for the handshake. But into the hand, the Spanish man dropped a trinket. And so word spread throughout North America that there was going to be a hard time. That maybe some of the brothers and sisters had forgot the sacredness of all things. And all the human beings were going to suffer for this on the earth. So tribes began to send people to the mountains to have visions, to try to figure out how they could survive. At that time, there was 100,000 cities in the Mississippi Valley alone called the Mound Civilization. Cities built on great mounds. Those mounds are still there. There was 100,000 cities of native people. And they were wondering how they could survive, live off the land, because they knew a hard time was going to come. They began to send people to have visions to see how we could survive this time. People came on the East Coast, and we were
See, and again, I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and my dad was very into native and indigenous, culture and stories and stuff. And it, I would read books because, again, child of the 80s, teenager of the 90s, but I would, read books and talk to different people. My dad would tell stories and he had different friends, and I would hear different things like about, having visions and the different like rites of passage and um things they would do to bring on those visions or get answers. And it always just made sense to me. Like that made more sense to me than the 2 years I spent in Catholic school. I don't know. Am I weird? Is it just me? Like, I don't know. It made more sense to me the way Native and Indigenous tribes did things. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Because again, everything is energy.
We're told in the prophecies that we should try to remind all the people that would come here of the sacredness of all things. And if we could do that, there would be peace on earth. But if we did not do that, when the roads went clear from east to west, and when the other...
And this is included with the Age of Aquarius, because this is, again, the Hopi prophecies. I'm not too familiar with them. Again, I've got some materials I've started accumulating to learn about them, but everything is we're in a transitory time, right? We're going from Pisces to Aquarius. We're on the cusp. Everything is crazy, everything's falling apart. So yeah, this is why this is in here and included, how it's relevant.
Races or colors of the earth had walked clear across this land. If by that time we had not come together as a human family, the Great Spirit would grab the earth with his hand and shake it. And so if you read the treaty negotiations from Red Jacket of the Six Nations on the east coast of this land, clear to Chief Joseph and Chief Seattle on the west coast of this land, they all said the same thing. Chief Joseph said, I accord you the right, and I hope that you accord me the right to live in this land. We always were trying to live together. But instead of living together, you all know there was separation, there was segregation. They separated the races, they separated the Indians, and they separated the blacks. So when they got to the west coast of this land, the elders that were aware of many of these prophecies, when they got to the west coast of this land, they said they would then begin to build a black ribbon. And on this black ribbon, they would move a bug. And when you begin to see this bug moving on the land, that was a sign for the first shaking of the earth. And this first shaking of the earth would be so violent that this bug would be shaken off the earth into the air, and it would begin to move and fly in the air.
Oh.
And by the end of this shaking, this bug would be in the air around the world. And behind it would be a trail of dirt. And eventually, the whole sky of the entire earth would become dirty from these trails of dirt. And this would cause many diseases that would get more and more complicated. So the bug moving on the land, of course, it's easy to see now. In 1908, the Model T Ford was mass-produced for the first time. So the elders knew the first shaking of the earth was about to come about. That's the First World War. In the First World War, the airplane came into wide usage for the first time. That was the bug moving into the sky.
Oh, sorry. Everything's connecting in my brain hole. Wow.
And so then they knew that something very important would happen. There would be an attempt to make peace on earth on the west coast of this land. And so the elders began to watch for this. And they began to hear that there was going to be a League of Nations in San Francisco. So the elders gathered in Arizona around 1920 or so, and they wrote a letter to Woodrow Wilson. And they asked if Indian people could be included in the League of Nations. At that time, the United States Supreme Court had held that a reservation is a separate and semi-sovereign nation, not a part of the United States, but protected by it. And this was a concern because people didn't want the reservations to become more and more separate. They didn't want them to be considered nations. So they did not write back, and the Native people were left out of the League of Nations. So that circle was incomplete. In the League of Nations circle, there was the southern door, the yellow people. There was the western door, the black people. There was the northern door, the white people. But the eastern door was not attended. And the elders knew that peace would not come on earth until the circle of humanity is complete. Until all the four colors sit in the circle and share their teachings, then peace will come on earth.
What'd I say? what I say, we all need to come together, just pump the brakes, calm down, take a deep breath. Just everyone get your fifis under fucking control. Get your fifi, calm down, bring the logic forward, right? Balance that with the intuition and the emotion. Balance it. Balance. Everything is off kilter. Everything is so off balance right now.
So they knew things would happen. Things would speed up a little bit. There would be a cobweb built around the earth, and people would talk across this cobweb. When this talking cobweb, the telephone, was built around the earth, a sign of life would appear in the east, but it would tilt and bring death. It would come with the sun. But the sun itself would rise one day, not in the east, but in the west. So the elders said, when you see the sun rising in the west, and you see the sign of life reversed and tilted in the east, you know that the great death is to come upon the earth. And now the Great Spirit will grab the earth again with his hand and shake it. And this shaking will be worse than the first.
Ah, shit.
So the sign of life reversed and tilted, they called that the swastika. And the sun rising in the west was the rising sun of Japan.
Because if you know, I know there's like different variation. It's like little details. I think, I'm sorry if the swastika wasn't a bad symbol. If you look in, is it Hammond? Why do I feel like you're gonna know this? Hinduism. The swastika was not a bad symbol, and I know there's like different iterations, or it wasn't bad. It was, but damn it.
These two symbols are carved in
Help
stone
me.
in Arizona. When the elders seen these two flags, these were the signs that the earth was to be shaken again. And the worst misuse of the guardianship of fire is called the gourd of ashes. They said a gourd of ashes will fall from the air. It will make the people like blades of grass in a prairie fire, and things will not grow for many seasons. The elders tried to contact President Roosevelt and ask him not to use the gourd of ashes because it would have great effects upon the earth and eventually cause an even greater destruction in the third shaking of the earth, the Third World War. So they knew that after the second shaking of the earth and they saw the gourd of ashes fall from the sky, they knew then they would be trying to make peace on the other side of this land. And because the peace attempt on the west coast had failed, they would build a special house on the east coast of this Turtle Island, North America. And all the nations and the peoples would come to this house, and it would be called the House of Mica. It would shine like the mica on the desert shines. So the elders began to see they were building the United Nations made out of glass that reflects like the mica on the desert. So they knew this is the House of Mica, and all the peoples of the earth should go to it. So they met and talked about this. They said that in 1920s they had written, and they had not been responded to. So this time they said, we better go to the front door of the House of Mica because things might get a lot worse. So elders representing a number of tribes, I believe, drove to New York City. When the United Nations opened, they went to the front door.
Yeah, we talked about Tina in the beginning of stream. R.I.P. Tina Turner, we love you. Yep, mica. Mica is what's in all your highlighters, in your shimmer shadows. I have a bunch on my face right now. Thank you, Hammond. Hammond's becoming like Hammond Beans. You're becoming, I'm like, Hammond, I need help. Help me. Oh my God, thank you so much. During my anything to do with Freaky Friday, you're just like, I got you, girl. I appreciate you so much.
Or the House of Mica. And they said these words, we represent the indigenous people of North America, and we wish to address the nations of the earth. And they said, we're going to give you 4 days to consider whether or not we will be allowed to speak. And they retreated to one of the Six Nations reserves in New York State. The Six Nations reserves are the keepers of the great mouthpiece of the prophet that appeared here in North America, Daganawida. And this great mouthpiece is still recited. It takes 4 days between sunrise and noon each year in Indian by memory. It's recited about this time of year. 4 days later, they came back, and I believe the nations of the earth, they heard that the Indians had come to the door, and they voted to let the Indians in. They wanted to hear what they had to say. But the United States is one of 5 nations, and the United Nations with a veto power, and still they were concerned because this time the native sovereignty was even stronger. And I believe they vetoed the interests of the native people. So then they knew other things would happen on the earth, and the United Nations would not bring peace on earth, but there would be continuing and deepening confusion, and that the little wars would get worse. So they retreated to the Six Nations Reserve, and they talked about this, and they said the time is really getting close now, 1949. They said, we're going to divide the United States into 4 sections, and each year we're going to have a gathering, and we're going to call these the White Roots of Peace gatherings. They begin to have these around 1950.
Yeah.
And they authorized certain men to speak in English for the first time about these prophecies. One that I used to listen to many times over and over was Thomas Binyaka. He is a Hopi man who was authorized to speak in English about what was on the stone tablets. And he spent his lifetime as
Layla, why did it become a Nazi symbol? I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning was, why they took it and, in my opinion, perverted it. Because keep in mind, Nazis is not what they called themselves. That's the Western world's word for them, right? I'm sure Hammond's going to come up with the answer here in a minute for us, Layla.
dedicated his lifetime to doing this. And they begin to tell us at these gatherings, they said, in your lifetime, you're going to see things happen. It was strange when they said it in the 1950s and 1960s, but now it seems very clear, but then it was unusual. They said, you're going to see a time in your life, men are going to become women. They said, the Great Spirit, he's going to make a man on the earth. You made him a man, but this man's going to say, I know more than the Great Spirit. I'm going to change myself to be a woman.
The fuck have I been saying? What is... Listen, I might have a little bird brain, but I'm on to something.
And they will even nurse children. They said the Great Spirit's going to make a woman on this earth. She's going to say, I know more than the Great Spirit. I want to be a man. And she will be physically a man. This sounded strange. They said, you're going to see a time in your lifetime, the human beings are going to find the blueprint that makes us. They're going to find the blueprint that makes us. They call that now DNA, dinucleic acid. And they said, they're going to cut this blueprint. They call that now genetic splicing. And they said, they're going to make new animals upon the earth. And they're going to think these are going to help us. And it's going to seem like they do help us. But maybe the grandchildren and great-grandchildren, they're going to suffer. I don't know if you heard on the news last month, in the United States now, they have genetically spliced a new germ, never before released in the environment. They want to release this germ into the cotton fields of the South. They say it will rejuvenate and strengthen the cotton.
Monsanto? One of the worst, most evil companies. If y'all don't know what's going on with farmers and Monsanto and the seeds used to grow our crops, and it's really sad. It's really fucked up. And listen, big pharma, big corporations, they don't care about us. They don't care. Each one of us is replaceable. The more we go along, the more all of the weird shit I say is going to make sense. I promise you.
They had scientists on the CBS Evening News the other night talking about it. And one scientist, he said what the elders said in 1950. He says, this will not harm us. We can put it in a lot of tests. And the other scientist, he said what the elders also said. He said, no, this has never before been in the environment. We have no idea what it will do. But the elders spoke of it long ago. They said it will seem harmless, but maybe it will hurt the great-grandchildren.
Hammond, I think we're like stream soulmates, or there's a cosmic connection happening here, because good Lord. Hammond Beans. So earlier Layla asked why, if the swastika was originally a symbol of peace in Hinduism, Judaism, and Christianity, why is it like a bad symbol? How did it become a bad symbol? Hammond Beans says the Nazis, so why did it become a Nazi symbol? Layla G asked. And then I was like, oh, hey, well, they didn't call themselves Nazis. We did. Hammond Bean says the Nazis called themselves the National Socialist Workers' Party. The reason we are told in school they are Nazis is because the education system doesn't want us to know they were socialists. And I recommend everybody really dig into why started our education system. our indoctrination and brainwashing system here in Merca. Certain names are going to come up the more we dig into things. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all the big families, all those things. But yeah, Monsanto, Hammond, you better DM me on Twitter. We got to talk about some shit.
The elder said long ago, they will release these things. They will use them. This is going to be released not too long from now.
Layla, you feel free to DM me on Twitter if you have questions or you're not sure or you're not understanding something or you just want to chat and be like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm available. Okay. And I absolutely adore you.
They're making new animals. The elders talked about this. They said you will see new animals, and even the old animals will come back. Animals that people thought had disappeared, they will find them here and there. They begin to reappear. They said you will see a time, about this time, they said, there's going to be a time when the eagle will fly its highest in the night, and it will land upon the moon. Some tribes say the eagle will circle the moon. Some tribes say the eagle will fly its highest in the night. And at that time, they say, many of the native people will be sleeping, which symbolically means they have lost their teachings. Or some tribes say it will be as if they're frozen, they've been through the long winter. But they say when the eagle flies its highest in the night, that will be the first light of a new day. That will be the first thawing of spring. Of course, at the first light of a new day, if you stayed up all night, you notice it's really dark. And the first light, you want to see it, but you can't. It sneaks up on you. You want to see it change, but it was dark, and then pretty soon it's getting light before you know it. We're at that time now. The eagle has landed on the moon, 1969. When a spaceship landed, they sent back the message, the eagle has landed.
Take it all in. Take it all in. Like I want to hear, I've never listened to the Hopi prophecies before. If I did, I don't remember. And I want to hear, but I'm also scared.
Traditional Native people from clear up in the Inuit that have shared with us, they have this prophecy clear down to the Quechuas in South America who share with us, they have this prophecy. When they heard those first words, the eagle has landed, they knew that was the start of a new time and a new power for Native people. There is absolutely nothing strong before us now. We may do anything we wish. In 1776, when the United States government printed the dollar in one claw, if you've ever noticed, there's an olive branch in this claw. They said that represented peace. The Indian elders share with me in South Dakota were them that represent the enslavement of black people. In the prophecies of the Six Nations people, they say there will be two great uprisings by black people to free themselves. We've seen one about 1964. There will be a second, more violent one to come. And the other claw is 13 arrows. The founding fathers of the United States said that represents the 13 states. But they say the elders, that represents the enslavement of Native people. When the eagle landed on the moon, they decided to print a special silver dollar to commemorate that. I don't know how many of you noticed it. The original design showed the spaceship landing on the moon, but at the last minute it was changed to an actual eagle. And in the eagle's claws is the olive branch, but the arrows are gone. And the elders said, that's our prophecy. We have been released.
Symbolism. Hidden symbolism. There's so much that's in front of our face, and we're just like, oh, but I never fucking understood. Like, why is there a pyramid on the back of our dollar bill? I mean, like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, it's fucking weird. Why is there an eye with it floating? Now I know. But, like, again, has anyone else ever, like, stopped and wondered, like, what? Like, damn. Y'all were drinking and smoking some good shit when you came up with this, because this doesn't make a lick of sense. Unless you understand what it really means.
There was one more uprising coming for the black race of people, and then they will be released. And this is also going to have an effect on Native people, a good effect. But we're in that time now. We're between the first light of a new day and the sunrise. The sunrise is about to come. When it comes up, everyone is going to see it. But you know how it is in the village. There's a few people that get up.
Hammond, seriously, DM me on Twitter. I know we follow each other because I want to talk to you about that. If you're cool with talking to me, I'm also on the Discord. We can do a little private chat.
Early. And there's some that sleep till noon. And he said when that eagle lands on...
And here's a fun fact. I got real bored in high school one day and signed up to take the ASVAB. It's this like test. It's like take the ASVAB and it'll tell you what careers and jobs you'd be good at. And it's all like it's like a recruitment for the military kind of tool thing. I'm sure Ham knows what I'm talking about. I took it. When I tell you I had, and this was 96, where I had all 4 branches of the military, especially the Army calling me every day, all day. You have to go through boot camp, but then you can go right into the code breaking. I scored so fucking high on some portion of some test. I don't even remember because this was what I was 17 to 27 years ago. And I guarantee I'm not as smart now as I was then. They're like, you have to go through boot camp because everybody else does. The Army wanted me for some like intelligent shit. And I was like, no, thanks. I'm good.
On the moon, the powers begin to come back to us. And as an alcoholic person, I feel that one of our greatest diseases is alcoholism. And within 7 days of the time the Eagle landed on the moon, the first native alcoholism program was started on Apache Reservation, Arizona. Within 7 days of the time the Eagle landed on the moon, the Freedom of Indian Religion Act was introduced
Alcohol is the most evil substance to exist on this earth.
Into the United States Congress. In 1978, it was signed by President Carter. I believe it was November 10th. It was punishable at one time to go to jail for 10 years and or a $10,000 fine for singing a song or doing a sweat. This was changed in 1978. The legislation was introduced in 1969, less than 7 days after the Eagle landed on the moon. These are the physical manifestations of the spiritual prophecies that we have. So he said at this time you're going to see things will speed up. The people on the earth will move faster and faster. Grandchildren will not have time for grandparents. Parents will not have time for children. It seems like time is going faster and faster, and the elders advise us, as things speed up, you yourself should slow down. The faster things go, the slower you go. Because there's going to come a time when the earth is going to be shaken a third time. The Great Spirit has been shaking the earth 2 times, the First and Second World Wars, to remind us that we are a human family, to remind us that we should agree with each other as brothers and sisters. We had a chance after each shaking to come together in a circle that would have brought peace on earth. But we missed that. Last night they were talking on the news about the sign for the third shaking of the earth. I heard it sitting in the airport after I missed my plane.
Oh no.
They said they're going to build what the elders called the house in the sky. In the 1950s they talked about this. They will build a house and throw it into the sky.
Space station?
When you see people living in the sky on a permanent basis, you will know the Great Spirit is about to grab the earth. This time not with one hand, but with both hands. Many of you from the background may have heard the spirits will warn you twice, but the third time you stand alone. We've had 2 warnings, the first 2 world wars, but now we'll stand alone in the third one. As it says in the Baha'i writings, there will be no one protected. When this house is in the sky, the Great Spirit's going to shake the earth a third time, and whoever dropped that gourd of ashes upon them is going to drop. They say at that time there will be villages in this land so great that when you stand in these villages, you will not be able to see out. And in the prophecies, these were called villages of stone, or prairies of stone. And they said the stone will go up from the ground and you'll not be able to see beyond the village. And at the center of each and every one of these villages, there will be native people, and they will walk as hollow shells upon a prairie of stone. They said hollow shells just means they will have lost any of their traditional understandings.
Yeah.
They will be empty within.
I am glad to see there's a few people I follow on YouTube that they are a lot of the native youth, they are trying to reclaim their traditions, their language, their knowledge that, was lost, taken away, suppressed. Those residential schools, man, just there's a documentary on Amazon. I forget what it's called, but I can find it and post it on my Twitter. And that was just the story of 2 of how many thousands of kids. And it's just, it breaks my heart to think of like how much knowledge has been lost.
They said after the eagle lands on the moon, some of these people will begin to leave these prairies of stone and come home and take up some of the old ways and begin to make themselves reborn because it's a new day. But many will not. And they said there's going to come a time when in the morning the sun is going to rise and those villages of stone will be there. And in the evening there will just be steam coming from the ground. There will be as steam. And in the center of many of those villages of stone, when they turn to steam, the native people will turn to steam also because they never woke up and left the village. And this used to bother me when I was a young man. I used to ask the elders, isn't there anything we can do? And they said, well, it's just that way that if the person does not have the spiritual eyes to see, it's very hard to show them. Or if they don't have the ears to hear, it's very hard.
The spiritual, not the religious, the spiritual. There's a big difference between religion and spirituality. And you can be religious, but that doesn't mean you're spiritual. And you can be spiritual, but that doesn't mean you're religious. I think religion is, it's a program you follow. It's something you're told the rules and do this, don't do that, or else, and blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of it is a fear-mongering control tactic for a bunch of people to get money and land and do what they want without question or repercussion. And spirituality is knowing who and what you really are, the power you truly hold, the abilities you truly have, despite of what religion and other people tell you, and knowing you're a badass, and you know, the powers that be and the assholes in charge can fuck off.
To speak with them. We wish that we could go get them all, but we can't. It's just that some are not going to wake up. But some will wake up. And so they say there's going to be the third shaking of the earth. It's going to be not a good thing to see, but we will survive it. We will survive it. And when we survive it, then there's going to be another attempt to make a circle of the human beings on the earth. And this time the native people will not have to petition to join, but will be invited to enter the circle because they say the attitude towards us will have changed by then. And people will invite us into the circle, and all the four colors of the four directions will share their wisdoms, and there will be a peace on earth.
I hope so. I fucking hope so. Because damn, we're all human. I don't know, maybe we need to get through this weird transitional time, and I say and I mean that in a couple of ways. If you know, you know. But it's like, again, balance, the logic, the intuition, emotions, just they're balance, logic, and reason. That's going to be my new motto.
This is coming close. All times when I share this message of the prophecies, people say, can't we change it? Could we stop it? The answer is yes. The prophecies are always either or. We could have came together way back there in 1565, and we could have had a great civilization, but we didn't. Always along the path of these prophecies, we could have came together. We still could. If we could stop racial and religious disharmony, we would not have to go through this third shaking. The elders say the chance of that is pretty slim. It seems to me like it's pretty slim too. But they say what we can do is we can cushion it. The word we use is cushion. We can cushion it. So it won't be quite as bad. How do we do this? We do this by sharing the teaching that will reunite us.
Okay. What is it?
The Hopis and the prophecies say there will be a religion that comes here. Maybe it will be true and bring unity, or maybe it will not bring unity. If it does not bring unity, a second religion will come. And the people of this religion are known in the Hopi language as the Baha-Ni, the people of Baha. Ni means people of. So I was looking for the people of Baha. I wondered who the people of Baha were. Baha means light and glory. Baha means follower.
Hammond, do you know that big temple thing in Evanston? Outside Chicago? You know what I'm talking about? Is that the Baha? Where it's like an amalgamation of all the religions, and they've got like swastikas included because it was the Evanston, Illinois. Is that temple?
Of the light. They're the people of
Hammond.
Baha. We've been waiting for these people a long time. They say they will bring a teaching that will unite the earth. So we need to share this teaching. They say the fire will come from the north. So here we are. in the circle in the north, talking about the Bahamis, the people of Baha, the teachings of Baha.
Why does that sound so
I heard
familiar?
about these, none of them made any sense. And now most of it has come to pass.
I'm going to Google it.
Last night on the news, they said the house in the sky will be put up in 1996. The earth as we know it is going to change. Each of us carry, I believe, a sacred drop of light. In the Indian teachings, they say it takes 9 ancestors to agree before conception can occur. 9 ancestors of the husband and the wife have to come together in the spirit realm and say, we will bring life before a person, woman can become pregnant. At that time, the soul was formed. I delivered my first daughter, and a man who, from the blood reserve, who went to South Dakota and was the first blood to pierce for, in 82 years, he came to my house by coincidence 4 days before my wife went into labor. Each night we had a ceremony. And after on the morning after the first ceremony, my wife went into labor.
It is. I was right. And I've been to that temple. And oh my God, okay, when this is done, oh my God, my mind is fucking blown.
At sunrise. And that night,
been
sunset,
there.
My daughter was born. And I took her out and I cut the cord, and I noticed that at the Sundance that the Lakota people do in South Dakota, they passed that.
Look it up. It's the Baha'i Temple in Evanston, Illinois. If you want to Google it, and I'm going to show it. I already have it pulled up on another tab. I have physically been there.
3 times, and they don't take it in the 4th time. And even in Washington, I've heard the coming of a child is like the coming of a new pipe. And when I was delivering my daughter, I happened to notice that the skull came out 3 times. And on the 4th time, her head came out like the coming of a pipe. So I took her out and I cleaned her up and I washed her, and I first put her on the mother instantly. But then after a few minutes, I would wash her up. There was a circle of people just about like this around my wife and praying, and people with different backgrounds. And we looked up, and through the ceiling came a small drop of blue light. When it got close to the child, you could not see it. That was her soul. She would carry that light throughout earth. In that is her special uniqueness as a being, her spiritual power. In that are gifts. After we go through, and then we carry it back here, and it radiates to the mind. But for some reason, in this cycle, we've been in the lower natures, the animal part. But now we're going into the human world. The mind is going to be opened up to the radiance of that, our own soul.
It's about fucking
and the cycle of
time.
human beings is going to come about. And something so good is going to happen on this earth, it cannot even be described.
It's fucking exhausting. It's fucking exhausting trying to be here, to raise the vibration and whatever. It's fucking exhausting.
They always say it in different ways. They say something like this. They say, there will be grass.
And just because it's like the bunch of us are here to raise whatever and the vibration and energy doesn't mean we ain't some tired, crabby bitches. All right? All right.
At that time, when they make that circle and bring the peace on the earth, there will be blades of grass that have not quite come through the earth. They will try to push themselves up to be part of that day when the sun rises. They say out here outside this building, long before there was a fairgrounds here, there were Native people. They say many of these Native people in different tribes, they were aware of these things, and they told their children. Their children grew up. You know, one time the people came from the Hopis, scientists came to the Hopis, and they said, we want to take a piece of the stone tablets. Well, they said, we want to take the stone tablets to a scientific laboratory to determine how old they are. The Hopi said, we know how old they are. Well, the scientist says, we want to confirm it. Well, the Hopis let them take a little piece, and they did that, the carbon dating method. They found these tablets were at least 10,000 years old, maybe 50.
Wow.
So when I say thousands of years ago, there were Native people that spoke of these things. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
They told their children. And thousands of years ago, their children grew up and told their children. And then their children grew up and told their children. And they spoke about the people that will live at this time, and now it is us. We are the ones they spoke of long ago. They say to be allowed to come into creation and live upon the earth at this time is a great honor. In the cycle of time, from the beginning to the end, this time that we're in now, the change, the purification of all things. They say this is the hardest time to live, but it's also the greatest honor to be allowed to live and see this. In the state of Washington in 1855, they signed treaties and made 22 Indian reservations. They wanted to do it before there was problems. They thought they were advanced at the time. They had learned from what had happened elsewhere. They made 22 Indian reservations, and the elders spoke in 1855, and they said, we're going to become weaker, and you're going to become stronger. And if you wish to break these treaties, you may do so. They said, but there's going to come a time when the earth itself will rise up and purify itself. And this will be announced. It will be announced by the speaking of one of 16 great ones on the west coast of this land. It's one first of the 16 great ones speaks, the purification will have begun. It was a little over 5 years ago when Mount St. Helens, one of the 16 great volcanoes on the west coast of this land, spoke. The Seattle Times did a special interest story. They went over to Watson Totus and Woodrow Bill. They asked Watson Totus and Woodrow Bill, as spiritual people of the Yakima Nation, what does this mean? What they said was so profound that they didn't put it on page 16, they put it on the front page of the Seattle Times. They said this means that the races and nations of the earth should slow down and come together and talk to each other. That's exactly what it meant.
Yep.
And we had 4 years and 4 days to do that. 4 years and 4 days later, Mount St. Helens went off the second time. That was last spring, just about this time. That was our grace period. We could have still done something really good, but now things are going to speed up. Now things are going to really happen fast. Time is going to go so fast. The more we share the message, the more we will cushion the third shaking of the earth, and the easier it will be on ourselves and others. A good friend of mine in Montana, his grandmother just passed away last year. The last thing she said to him was, make a place for yourself in the mountains, because the air would become so hot down here where they were at on the reservation. It'd be hard to breathe. And it won't be long. It's the last thing she told her grandson when she was passing. Go in the mountains and make a place for yourself. Put some things there that you can survive with. People are going to run to the mountains to survive. And the needy people.
I'm at the base of Lake Tahoe. The first fucking place I'll go is up the mountain. I'll be like, excuse me, V6 4-wheel drive coming through. Thank you.
People must be ready for this.
Me and everybody
and they're
else.
going to turn to needy people. And they're going to turn to local spiritual assemblies.
Yep.
So this is that time. We are.
Do you know how many times people are like, oh, there's some shit in my house. Oh, there's some shit in my house. And I'm like, this is beyond my help. You need to contact a local shaman or elder in the local indigenous tribe and get them here, because I can't deal with this shit. Like, beyond my pay grade. Goddamn.
Now within the purification of all things. Non-natives call this the apocalypse. The native elders call this the purification. I will share one non-native prophecy with you. There was a prophet, or a seer, not a prophet, but a seer in Europe. His name was Nostradamus. I'm sure many of you have heard of him.
Another one we got to go over.
He foresaw 3 great shakings of the earth.
Fuck, there's so much.
He said the third shaking would begin when Lesser Arabia and Persia.
Guten Tag again, Jake. Strange. How you doing? How you doing? I am still streaming. I'm going to be wrapping it up here shortly, though.
Engaged in a war. 5 years ago, when Mount St. Helens went off.
We're finishing up Hopi prophecies in regards to the Age of Aquarius, and everything's gonna train. We're dawning on the Age of Aquarius. Everything's a mess, and it could turn out good or bad, but it's gonna be a fucking mess, and everyone's crazy. And I keep saying we need to pump the brakes and slow down and balance logic, intuition, and our feelings, and everyone needs to stop being so freaking crazy and unbalanced. But
Iraq attacked Iran. Lesser Arabia today is called Iraq. Persia is called Iran. These two prophecies coincide. Both the native.
And they are pronounced Iraq and Iran, not Iran or Iraq. Yeah.
The elders of Nostradamus said this will start slowly, almost unnoticed by the peoples of the earth, but it will eventually involve us all. Eventually, the birds of ashes will fall from the sky so much that the river that runs through the center of this turtle island, the Mississippi River, will boil from the heat of the gourds of ashes that will fall on this land. But don't despair. It sounds terrible, but we will survive it. We will live through it. So, in closing, I would like to call on each and every person, regardless of who you are, young or old, native or non-native, to arise now and to awake, to embrace this time, to learn everything you can about the teachings and the writings, to arise and awake and go forth, all the peoples of the earth. You're going to find them. Peoples everywhere are now receptive to the message. It is time to arise and awake, and go forth and teach. There's people out there waiting to hear. Waiting to hear.
What do you guys think? And I think I want to go into the Hopi prophecies more. All right, here. Let me put on a little background music. A little background music. So, All right, make sure I'm not. Let me make sure I'm not doxing myself. So, yeah, everything that looked good. That looked good. Okay, I can share. Share screen. So the Baha'i faith is a new religion teaching the essential worth of all religions and the unity of all people. Established by Baha'u'llah. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so white. I'm so sorry. In the 19th century, it initially developed in Persia and parts of the Middle East, where it has faced ongoing persecution since its inception. And one of the places they have a temple is Evanston, Illinois. Or shrine, yes, which is outside of Chicago, Illinois. And I have been there. Which one? Chicago. I have been here. It is. I've been here. That's why I was like, why does that sound familiar? Wait, is that the big one outside Evanston? Yes, it fucking is. And you go inside and the ceiling is like amazing. But I remember, so here, oh my God, the fucking ceiling. I need to figure out how to like, oop. Oh, nope, stop. Oh, I need to learn how to tap. Nope, stop. Beach. Yep. Okay, just look at this. Oh, stop it. God damn it. I figured out how to zoom in on my laptop. Look at this. Like, you can search this up yourself, but I remember being like, and again, I was a little taken aback because I didn't understand. This was 2015, like before I like woke up. When I was on the verge of waking up. And I understood at the time that, again, the swastika was not a bad symbol. It was, I think, I like to say it was poisoned and perverted by the Nazi party. But yeah, look at these images. It's amazing. Oh my God, Winston. He's so upset. This place is amazing. Again, Evanston, Illinois. Evanston just has some like great houses and whatnot in general. But yeah. And again, Chicago, Evanston. It's kind of the same thing. Oh my God, I can't believe they brought this up. I had even forgotten I'd gone here. But this, yeah. And they've got some all throughout the world. But yeah, I've been here and I remember thinking like, oh, that's cool. But I'm always a little unsure of like any religion. But I remember being like, oh, that's cool. You know, like just being like, hey, we all need to come together and just like, let's work together. Because you notice how like when everybody can be reasonable and listen and talk and you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise. You know? How well communities and things and stuff works. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat? Ooh. So, long story short, the Age of Aquarius is the new age we're supposed to go into, the next sign in the astrological wheel. Some people think it's already started. Some people say we've got a couple more 100 years. Looks like it's setting up to be a little bit tumultuous. A little little unsettled, but it does seem like there's going to be a new beginning. How we're going to get to that new beginning, not quite sure. But I feel like there is some hope, So I'd love to stay and hang out and chat a little bit more, but I need to go check on some things because I need to. I appreciate I screenshotted your comment, Hammond. And I'm going to be looking that up. I will message you on Twitter as soon as I get a chance. I need to go check and make sure everything's okay in my house because, if you know. I appreciate you guys being here so much. I will get some stuff for us to do Sumeria and Anunnaki on Friday. If we don't, we'll do it next week. We'll see if things don't get too heavy for me personally. We'll do that. If not, I might do something that's a little easier for me. I don't know, but I'll plan on the Anunnaki in Sumeria. So thanks for being here. I appreciate everybody being here. All opinions and people are welcome. Please don't take anything I said during this live stream / podcast situation type deal moment personally. Because it's not meant personally towards anybody. I speak in general terms. And if I'm talking about you, if I'm talking about you, you'll know because I'll say your fucking name. Okay, cool. How about that? I love everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.